So good day to all of you, our dearest friends. This is Professor Dr. Scott once again from the Social Strategy Institute of ASEAN. For this year, 2022, this is a very promising year, and we will be giving you 9 interesting seminars, 9 interesting webinars that will change your life, that will put you on top of your game. So we call this program Fire Up Your Future for the next 20 years. As you know, for the next 20 years, there will be a new culture, there will be a new change that will take place. And it's very difficult for most people to experience change. We have seen a lot of businesses fail, a lot of careers fail, a lot of industries collapsed because of the new changes that took place for the past 2.5 years of our lives. So now, we are now entering a new era, the post-pandemic era. So this will slowly take place in the next 2 years. There will be a digitized generation, a digitized society that will soon take place. So our goal here is to give you an insight, is to give you an overview on what will happen for the next 20 years, on what will be the new emerging marketing trends. Okay, so for this day, we have our special subject matter experts. We have Dr. LG Adagintan. We also have Dean Vicente Gianza, Dean Vic, who will be our moderator for this afternoon. So to briefly give you an overview about Dr. Tan, she is a metaphysics master, and she is also Chimendunja strategist and a hypnotherapist. And she is also expert when it comes to child and parenting education. She also has the specialty in date selection. And she earned her doctorate degree in divinity with specialization in metaphysical divinity from the Logos University in Miami, Florida, USA. She also have her master's in education, major in educational leadership and management from Pacific Intercontinental College. And she earned her bachelor's degree in management information systems from Campbell University, USA. She also had various trainings in Chinese metaphysics. So for this day, it will be very interesting because we will be talking about Chinese metaphysics also. What is ancient Chinese metaphysics all about? What is the beauty of it? Because many people are still clueless about it. They are asking, is this real? Or is it just a superstition? Or what is it all about? Or how will it change our lives? How can it be the aid for the next 20 years? You know, try to imagine, everything can be forecasted. As you can see, even weather forecast can be forecasted. So meaning our lives have a predetermined destiny. It's upon how to discover and uncover and decipher it. That is why this afternoon, this will be a very interesting talk because Dr. Tan will be showcasing to you how will it change your lives? How will it change our lives? You know, in the past, you can just do business with less competition. Everything is predictable. That is why we have to uncover, we have to unleash, we have to discover, and we have to know. Remember, everything we discuss here, it's not all about superstition. It's not all about mere imagination. All of this were scientifically researched, scientifically studied. That is why what we're gonna show to you or what we gonna discuss to you is all about real things, or it's all about science. Everything here is evidence-based. Okay, so let me now introduce you our moderator, Dean Vicente Gianza, who is the Dean of the World City Colleges in the Philippines. He was also a department head from De La Salle University. He was also a program head from Jose Rizal University in Manila, and he has handled hospitality, management, tourism, sustainable development courses in many top prestigious universities. And he is also good in research and development. So I believe the discussion for the first episode will be very interesting. The first episode for today will be entitled The Ancient Chinese Metaphysics as an Exact Science and Never a Superstition, and see how it works. So this day, let's see how it works. Let's now hear from our beloved resource persons. Of course, our very own Dr. Tan and our moderator, Dean Vicente Rianza. Okay, Dean Vic, take it away.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Tibayan, and I'm very glad that this topic will enlighten also our audience. And I, for one, I'm very curious about the what is metaphysics all about and how it affects the lives of the people, particularly right after the post-pandemic. Because, most of the people are very curious, particularly for the right? For the non-Chinese, right? Culture. But somehow, our participants will be able to enlighten all about what is metaphysics and how it affects the lives of the people and how they're going to direct, all right, and to make their life be better, all right, with the coming year, particularly with the coming of the Tiger Year, which is the Water Tiger for 2022. And can we give us, Dr. Tan, enlightenment about what is metaphysics? All right, because I for one, it's really I don't understand. But if I have a little knowledge about the metaphysics, but can you give us the background of what is metaphysics all about?
What is Chinese metaphysics? Chinese metaphysics is something that's it's like a mathematics. When you enter a school, right, everything is learnable, all right? So including Chinese metaphysics is something that's is a formula based. So when you are learning the formula and then based on the date that you were born, and that date itself, right, will actually have this the energy where to compute your entire destiny. And this destiny chart itself, right, will be actually given to us, and for us to have the like a formula for us to actually navigate what is good about us, what is best and gifted to us, where actually we call it the inborn talent. And with that, we also will know somehow what we can actually use it to navigate our life. All right. So that is about Chinese metaphysics. And a lot of people will say that this is actually something like, is that a magic? Or is that something where actually, very mystical that we do not know what it's all about? And the Chinese metaphysics itself, right, is something that actually it contains the energy from the entire universe. And this universe itself, right, if you know how to manipulate, how to navigate through about your destiny. So somehow when we are live with it, and we can live a better life. So that is about Chinese metaphysics. It's it's a broad umbrella, and inside this umbrella that actually encompasses a lot of different projects. And by a very layman term, normally we hear about feng shui, we hear about bazi, and even including some of these divination tool like Qi-men Dunjia or I Ching methods. So that are all part of the subject under the Chinese metaphysics umbrella. Yes.
Okay, so in short, Chinese metaphysics is all about knowing your destiny. Is that correct, Dr. Tan?
Yes, correct. So it's a destiny given to us with our born of the date, and this date itself where we know what is the best about us. At the same time, we can actually maximize it and to navigate the best inside us, and we know when will be the given time for us to do it the best and to achieve a better, greater success.
Yes, I agree with that, because let's put it this way, if we try to assess, some people are questioning the importance of metaphysics. They will just say, oh, it's just a man-made study, a man-made analysis, to the point that, oh, yeah, who invented the calendar? It's just human being. That's what they said. But always remember this. Chinese metaphysics is always anchored in nature. Same also with us. As you know, there's a special, are you aware, anybody out there, are you aware that we ourselves, we have a barcode in our body system. We have QR code. For sure, you know that, Dr. Tan, or how about Dean Vic? Were you aware that we have a QR code and we have a barcode in our body system?
Yeah. This day maybe we can call it DNA. Maybe Dinvik.
Yeah, Dean
You
Fig.
may know it.
Yeah, are you aware of that?
Yes, actually, that's the reason why we have a Dr. Tan here to enlighten us regarding that one, because from my first-hand knowledge, actually, I'm very curious about what is better. Can we able to determine also the behavior of a person with using the metaphysics, Dr. Tan?
Yes, exactly. Because when we are to convert this our date of birth itself, right, into these 8 characters, or some people they call it 4 pillars, and by having that, we can actually from there we can actually decode a person's personality. What is the behavior about the person, and what is the do's and don'ts the person shouldn't do, and what are the likes and dislikes about a person. So all these are something that already indicated inside our date of birth, or the we call it the destiny. And from there, if let's say some people they actually can even use it to maximize or even to optimize in their life itself, right, for their career, and they can also benefit it for their own relationship. So somehow, if the people who actually know how to use it, okay, to your own benefits, you will notice that we can very easily with the Bazi itself, right, we can easily to actually tell us about the person's character, the person's personality, and for us to know what type of methods or what type of communications or social method that we should talk to the person.
In fact, the word Bazi, it's a Chinese metaphysics terminology. It's a jargon, but to translate it into layman's term, it means destiny life map. So meaning each one of us has a predetermined destiny. Just Bazi is a Chinese term or ancient Chinese metaphysics terminology. It's a jargon. But if we translate it into an English or a layman's term, it means destiny life map. So meaning each one of us are born already with a predetermined destiny. We are fated for something, just in case you don't know. We are fated for something, and we have a destiny that we are about to embark on. Same also with our fingerprints, our thumb marks. This is our QR code or barcode. This is our identity, meaning you may have quintuplets and so on and so forth, but you will not have the same fingerprints. It will always be unique. Even if you rewind billions of years ago, 5 billions of years ago, there is no such human being having the same or identical fingerprints. So meaning we are created uniquely. That's the beauty of it. Metaphysics Bazi is not all about just superstition or just a man-made imposition. Just to precondition the minds of people. No. In fact, the best thing about Bazi or metaphysics is to uncover, rediscover who you are and what kind of destiny you're heading to, so at least you can maximize the opportunities or avoid the dangers. That's why it's very, very important.
So that's the very essence of a metaphysics, Prof. Scott and Dr. Tan. So we can able also to correct, we can able to make good of our life regarding using the metaphysics.
Yes, you are right. Actually, what Prof. Scott has mentioned about a very unique point, because all of us, right, we as we know that QR code itself, when you scan the QR code, it will actually bring you to the destination. All right. So exactly the same thing. Our destiny life map itself is also something like a QR code or a DNA. And the day when we were born, right? So this DNA already spelled out a lot of personal information about the person, and including what type of success the person should have, okay, in the entire life, and what are the things that the person should do. So that is exactly that we were already given, also called the word fated for all of us, and that's why every one of us are unique.
Yes, in fact, perfect example. Of course, you cannot question or you cannot complain whatever you are fated to. Sometimes in life, we are born with these choices that we are given to us. It's how we maximize. It's how to prepare on it. If you try to bring back history, there is a person who is destined to be a president of a country. There is a person 12 years ago destined to be a president of a country. But the problem, since he is not aware of his destiny, he was not able to discover his gifts and talents. My goodness, by accident, he really became the president without enough preparation. Just because the mother died, and suddenly he became the president because it's his destiny. But if as early as your childhood days, you and your parents are very much aware with what Chinese metaphysics is, you can prepare. You can study on how to be a good leader, how to be a good businessman, how to be a good economist, how to be. So by that time, you enter that kind of destiny, at least you're very much prepared to take charge and you can help others benefit from your leadership. But too sad, due to limited preparation, people are not preparing. Or, but if, for example, you're prepared to have a major accident, or you are destined, you're fated to have a very drastic death. So what must you do? So you can also navigate that positively. I mean, you cannot change that. That's your fate there. But you can change that positively by keep on donating blood, for example. So that is the way of fulfilling your fate, but doing a proper way of change of destiny, destination change.
Yes, or maybe I would like to add on. I remember many years ago when I went to this Philippines, the country, and I remember one of the so-called a client that I met, right? So, and the person was telling me for this year, specifically for this year, I cannot eat chicken. So I was surprised. Is that something, got to do with the person's health? That's why the person cannot eat chicken. And then I came to know that, because due to some misconception that, some of the local masters was telling, if let's say in the birth chart, the person has a rabbit, and due to the rabbit is clashing to the rooster, so that's why the person was not it's better not to eat chicken for the entire year due to the clash of the animal sign. And I also would like to, make a bit of like, to clarify this, because in our destiny life map, our destiny itself, right? All the animal sign itself is just we call it the representations, okay, by the animal sign, because in those ancient Chinese time, so all of these people, they are not well versed, or they are not they are not attending the school. So that's why everything that the so-called the Chinese ancient masters, so they are trying to use the animal signs in order to give the representations, okay. And with that, so what is this about? So that's how some of the people, they actually give a lot of a misconception in today's society. So that's why, if possible, try to actually grab some of this, correct information, and in order to use this, the Chinese ancient tools where to enhance our life instead of to ruin or to damage someone's life.
Okay, so very well said, Dr. Tan. And regarding misconception, I just want to ask, is there any involvement of religion? Because our society right now is actually they have this misconception that metaphysics is actually a combination of what so-called religion and science. Is that true?
All right. To take these questions, right, Chinese metaphysics is not religions. I would like to mention one more time to reiterate and to emphasize, Chinese metaphysics doesn't equal to religion, all right? And at the same time, right, it doesn't really also equal to so-called like energy healing. So everything is, stand alone by itself and is independent subject by itself, all right? Why I say that? Because in Chinese metaphysics, we are to learn every mathematical formula. Okay, I call it the mathematical formula. It's like you go and study mathematics, so the teacher will teach you 1 + 1 = 2. If you would like to get the sum of 10, so you can actually come out with, by a lot of other methods, okay? And so same thing in Chinese metaphysics, it's a computational science, all right? And everything that we study, we have to remember We have to understand it and how it works. And when we study that, right, actually there are a lot of formula that we will have to understand and to know how it works. When you see this combination, that is equivalent to this information, but just that into a more practical way. All right, so that's why this is not a religion. All right, and in fact, this is something where actually it's a science where it's something that's it's a formula that you will have to learn, and you will have to put in your experience and as well as the practical part in order to read the code or to decode the information correctly. So but of course a lot of time, right, whoever who actually so-called learn the Chinese metaphysics, at the end of the day, right, because of due to the inline or incline into the energy practice, that's why a lot of people who are the practitioner into Chinese metaphysics also somehow they are inclined into this energy practicing. All right, so that's why ultimately a lot of practitioners in Chinese metaphysics, they are also learning or to learn how to actually so-called like to pick up another independent subject, which is actually called energy healing. Yeah, so yeah, that's why it is not a religion by se.
Yeah, I got your point perfectly. Chinese metaphysics is never a religion. In fact, it's a science. It's management of life energies,
Yes.
Dr. Tan and Dean Vic. Because let's put it this way, going back to the animal science, in metaphysics, there's no such thing as real animals. Because I remember some local masters, for example, if you're born of the year of the dragon, they are discouraging you or prohibiting you from taking care of a dog. There's no such science with that. What's that? Where do we get that information? Of course not. Remember, Chinese metaphysics is all about the study of elements and energy. To the statement of Dr. Tan, yes, I agree. Chinese metaphysics is not a religion. In fact, it's a management of life energies. Remember, we are living in nature. We're part of the nature. From the Western perspective, look at the difference between Western and Eastern. From the Western perspective, it's man who rules the world, man who is dominating everything. But from the Eastern perspective, man is just part of nature. All of us are coexisting peacefully. You see the huge difference between the East and the West. That's why we have to also embrace the Eastern tradition that we should respect every living being, because every living being gives energy. And in fact, even as humans, we benefit from the energies that the nature gives to us. Going back to the animal science does not mean that they are real animals. Because I remember many masters from all parts of the world will always say, oh, you are year of the dragon. You should avoid taking care of a pet dog because that's bad. So I was thinking, where did they get that information? That's very foolish. Because in reality, animals are representation of elements.
Correct.
So going back with the rat, as you know, of course, you're aware that rat means water. Same also with ox means the sand or the earth.
Correct.
And a tiger means wood. A rabbit means soft wood. Then after rabbit is dragon, which is a mountain, a strong, mighty mountain. So when you say dragon, that means a strong, sturdy, powerful mountain. It does not mean a mythical creature. But of course, you know, many people are very creative and imaginative and innovative. That's why for them to teach it to the layman, that's the reason why they put animal science. But in reality, those are elements. And one thing good about metaphysics is we live in a quantitative world. You know, the balance of quantitative and qualitative. It's the people, the quality giving the qualitative way of life, but everything is predetermined by nature. Same also with the 4 seasons. As you know, every spring, every summer, every autumn, things are predictable in a circular cyclical flow. Like for example, even weather. Why do you say weather is superstitious? Do you say weather forecast is religious? Of course not. That is science. And due to the emergence of new technologies, we are so fortunate that even the weather forecast for tomorrow, for the next week, next month, is predictable. You just type it in Google. Oh, what is the weather in Tagaytay, for example, on Friday, or on Valentine's Day? Because I want to take, for example, a special someone. Or you want to go to Genting Highlands in Malaysia, you have to check. Really cold there because I want to impress my guests. So meaning, this is computational. Metaphysics is computational. And if you know how to manage your destiny, you know the sequence, you can very well redesign your life. That is the beauty. There's no religion involved in that. The sad part here is many merchants like people from the Buddhism community, Taoism community, Hinduism community, try to integrate. Like for example, the face of Hom Gam Ganapataye Namaha. What's the name of that mythical creature?
Is that Ganesh?
Yeah, Ganesh.
Ganesh, right.
That's why, yeah. That is Dean Vic's favorite, by the way. Yeah. He's a fan of Ganesh.
Really?
So meaning to say, Dr. Tibayan and Dr. Tan, so metaphysics is actually a management and maximizations of environment energy that affect the person. So whether that is positive or negative, but we use that in a positive way, right?
Yes,
to improve
correct.
ourselves. Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes.
now I'm enlightened about what is metaphysics. But we in metaphysics also we can able to make that as a base for how we're going to improve ourselves, even our home, right, or even our office.
Yes,
correct?
correct. Yeah, actually, if because in Chinese metaphysics itself, right, there are many subjects, and if let's say we are to use the destiny life map itself, it's basically to understand us ourselves, and also to enhance what are the good thing and bad thing about us, and also at the same time to navigate when will be the best time for us to do something in order we can achieve certain thing in life, and in order for the person to achieve greater success in life. All right. However, in Chinese metaphysics, there is another so-called subset to it, where actually known as feng shui. So in feng shui perspective, right, if you know how to maximize it, so you will know how to realign your house, all right, to the outside the external part of the environment. And this external part of the environment, when the moment you are aligned to it, so you can receive the maximized energy. And this maximizing of the energy itself can actually help you to enhance the energy inside your house, and whatever that you are doing, it can help to boost your energy, and somehow it can help you to actually achieve a greater success, even in a more turbo way. Yeah, so that is how the feng shui works. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's how metaphysics works. So it's not only for divination, not only for the feng shui, but also even other branches like I Ching and the other one. All right.
Yes,
so
achievement dunja.
Achievement dunja for that. All right.
Yes.
So
It's interconnected, by the way, Tina. It's interconnected. Like, for example, because the moment you get out of your mother's womb, the moment that your umbilical cord was taken out from you, I mean, parted ways with your mother, you become an independent person already in this natural physical world that we live in. So technically, you bring in all the energies of that day. Because as you know, day by day, there are different auxiliary stars, different energies surrounding the day. So the moment that you get out of your mother's womb, meaning you're already an individual, independent human being, then that's the time you embrace all the energies. So there will be a time when you check your destiny life map. Remember, we have 5 elements. What if, for example, you are missing the fire element, you're missing the water element, you are missing the wood element? Of course, technically, it will be a disadvantage on your part. But it does not mean that you have to cry, or you have to regret, or you have to self-pity. Of course not. And that's where feng shui comes in. Okay, that's where feng shui comes in. In feng shui, as you know, the real essence of feng shui, it's all about management of life energies. It's about tapping the good energy, the good chi. It's not all about buying lucky charms, buying the elephant, buying the tai sui, or buying this piao. It's not that. That is entertainment feng shui. Let me tell you, that's entertainment feng shui. We're studying Chinese metaphysics, so meaning we're tapping the energy. So for example, if I don't have a wood in my chart, it's best for me to situate myself in the east or southeast environment, because that is where the good location is. And that balances your destiny life map, gives you the energy, the strength, which many people miss out. They think that, just buying lucky charms will change my life. Of course not. It's about tapping the energy. Then once you tap the energy, once you fix your feng shui, meaning you have all of us, because there's no perfection.
Yes.
We were born out of by chance, meaning we did not choose our birth chart. So this time it's about managing or maximizing it, right?
Yeah, correct. So that's why in Chinese metaphysics itself, right, people who are really so-called like people who are really rich, so somehow they actually maximizing or optimizing this so-called the tool to actually help them to boost and to enhance their energy and to know how to realign to the certain so-called locations and to tap to the good energy, and in order for them to actually maximize their business opportunities, in order to give them a lot of this wealth perspective. All right, but of course there is another perspective where the people they they always still thought that or believe that Chinese metaphysics is still just a superstitious about it, and somehow these are the people where they are still totally avoid to get to understand what is Chinese metaphysics about, and these are the people where actually they will continue, all right, not to using this in order to help them to boost or to enhance their life. Yeah.
Okay. So I overheard, Dr. Tan, that
Yes.
there are some other schools of Chinese metaphysics. So they believe that they have if their energy is very low, they need to boost that one, and then they have to buy this like for example pendant, etc. Just to boost their energy. Is there any
that really work? Is it?
yeah, right. So because
Yeah.
I overheard from some other masters or fake masters maybe, because I think they have different schools regarding the metaphysics. So others, they believe that they can boost their energy by buying this item, but others, they don't need that one. So what
Yeah.
can you enlighten us about it?
All right. Because in the real Chinese metaphysics, all right, we do not really use all this so-called figurine, all right, to actually boost the energy. Because we always believe that in the real Chinese metaphysics, in the real feng shui usage, or in the real destiny life map, so we are trying to recognize what are the 5 elements, okay, in the energy of the entire universe, and we are trying to recognize that whether any of these energy like water element, earth element, metal element, fire element, any of these elements itself, right, which is actually weak inside a person or either strong inside a person. So that is somehow we are to bring back the energy, and to bringing back that energy by locate someone into the sector of we call it the southeast or the east energy. All right, so in terms of the feng shui perspective, that is already the help the person actually to regain the energy of the wood element. So instead of you are to go to buy a piao, or you are to get something where actually to wear it as a pendant or whatsoever, in order to help you to enhance the energy. I'm not saying that these are things that totally not existent, okay, but it's just that we always say that these are all the entertainment where actually figurine where to for the so-called modern practitioner to actually use it as one of the additional so-called topic, okay, to help people, okay, into this Chinese metaphysics. But however, in the real Chinese metaphysics perspective, we don't use all these figurine. All right, but in fact, if we are using the real items, like example, maybe the wood itself, okay, to represent as a wood element to enhance for the person to actually gain the energy of the wood energy. So instead of to wear example a rabbit or a tiger in the person, and then to wrap the energy of wood element, so that basically not existed in our study, okay, the real feng shui or the real destiny life map study. Yeah, so but of course we are not saying that that is good or bad about it, but just that that is not the real practicing of the real feng shui or the real destiny life map. Yeah.
Okay, Dr. Dr. Tan. So, how about you, Dr. Tibayan? So, can you give also insights regarding these schools? Because, I'm very particular about what to learn, because I really messed up with what is true about it, right?
Okay, yes. Yeah, with regard to the statement of Dr. Kang, which is true. In fact, as you know, metaphysics has plenty of schools of thought. And at the same time, with regard to use of those pendants, lucky charms, elements, in fact, it will really depend on the context. Like, for example, you need a metal element to cure the 5-year or to cure the misfortune energies. Of course, you have to buy an element that is really made of metal. Because if you buy a 5-element pagoda made of wood, that's nothing. It defeats the purpose. So it's with the metal also. And at the same time, as you know, let's talk reality here. We live in several universes. We live in several dimensions. We live in a physical world. That's why we use Chinese metaphysics, the physical way. If you want to integrate religion, regardless of your belief, whether you're a Christian, whether you're a Muslim, you're a Buddhist, you're a Hindu or whichever, remember, there's a spiritual reality. We are not denying it. It's true. So, for example, for people who like, for example, they like Kuan Yin. So, you need Kuan Yin. You can buy a jade element because jade is also made of minerals. It's made of nature that will somehow boost your energy. Then you incorporate your spiritual and your physical to somehow fill in the good energy also. Or if you are a Catholic, they like the image of Jesus Christ, you can maybe buy a pendant made of the image of a cross, just to remind, not necessarily to worship it, just to remind you and to bring in the jade energy. So it's just intertwining the spiritual realm from the physical realm. But if you don't want to integrate the spiritual, it's okay, no problem. Metaphysics is purely physical. But some people have intertwined spirituality from physical. That is why they are doing that. Science of metaphysics is purely science. Spirituality is spirituality. Some people mix it, but if you want the hardcore, natural way, you use the physical aspect of metaphysics.
Yeah.
So meaning to say, if I'm going to maximize my energy, can I use also the natural element, like for example stones or crystals?
I think that is a good question. If I were to take these questions, right? Actually, what Dr. Tibayan has mentioned about this thing. Example, once upon a time, like myself, right? I'm actually so-called like require a lot of wood energy, and somehow the wood element was somehow lacking in my destiny. And I realized that when after I have learned about Chinese metaphysics, I realized that in that particular time frame, right? What I always likes to do is that I always sleep with my books, because I am a person who actually like to read a lot of books. So that particular moment of time, so in my life, I always sleep with a lot of books besides me. All right, and as we know that books itself, right, is actually made of the element of wood element, and people who actually lacking of wood element, you will notice that they are the people who always like to deal with physical book a lot. All right, and instead of these days a lot of people actually going on the technology base, using IT, iPad, or a lot of all these technology based devices, but people who still like wood element, so somehow they still prefer to have a physical paper. All right, or to always carry with their physical diary, to actually always still read their books in a physical way manner. This is actually how certain things, if you know how to maximize, all right, the real energy, okay, from the real physical things in our surrounding, so that is how we can actually optimize every single energy to add on to push our own energy, instead of to go and buy some lucky charms or to go and get something you may or may not know whether these are the things or figuring were actually to really push our energy within.
Dr. Tibayan, so right now all your inputs with Dr. Tan, actually when you give me a lot of information regarding what is metaphysics. It's not a religion, it's a science, all right? science of maximizing energy for the benefit of the person, and even metaphysics can able to use for us reading the behavior of person or character of the person, and even the use of metaphysics can be able to organize things, all right, in favor for the person, or it will favor for us, and we can able also use metaphysics for battle or for war, particularly in business, all right, our profitability, our moves or strategy when it comes to business. And also with regards to metaphysics, it also give us the cure, right? And are able to determine also what are our weaknesses, particularly in our health. So these are the informations I've learned from both of you, particularly from Dr. Tan, which is her expertise in this particular matter, and even how we can able to use maximize the space and energy, and even the environment.
Well, so as we know, Chinese metaphysics, we are to talk about the real Chinese metaphysics is something that's how we can maximize and to optimize our energy. And when we talk about this energy, is something where we can really boost, okay, about, from the inner self itself, all right? And where I would have to say that if possible, if any one of us given a chance, try to understand how Chinese metaphysics work, and if you have understand how these 5 elements and to deal within Earth and also with the external environment, so that is how we can to realign and to know exactly what we are good at, and who we should deal with, and who are the noblemen to us, and when will be the right time for us to do the right decision, and in order for us to reach out to our greater success in the shortest time. All right, so that is how I would like to actually conclude to about the entire Chinese metaphysics, knowing what we do, and knowing when is the opportunity and the time given, and for us to actually always achieve the greater success for all of us.
I never really imagined that metaphysics, or that ancient Chinese metaphysics, is full of rich information that can really change lives and improve lives of many people, ranging from our birth, our destiny, our fate, and our future. That is why many people should somehow learn, should somehow seek, research more about their destiny, about their fate, and about the destiny life. It was mentioned by Dr. Tan and also our moderator, Dean Vic, that it's a science. It's not like infotainment or entertainment feng shui, where you just look at your horoscope, look at your animal sign. But in reality, we never imagine those animals are not really animals, but those are elements representing. They are just a figurative information just for the layman to understand. But deep inside that is a valuable natural science that blends with us. As you know, we have a destiny life map. It's not just based on the year of birth. Imagine in the Bazi that was mentioned by Dr. Tan. As you know, there are 4 pillars that we must put into consideration. And how the ruling year, how the ruling element year will touch our day-to-day lives. And it will not just be for this year, but our discussion will be long range, ranging up to the 20 years. For you to reach your destination, you need a direction. You need a better path, better route to enter. If you have to reroute to avoid dangers, to avoid accidents, you must. That is why we're here for you, to share to you everything that we know, everything that we have experienced for the betterment of our fellow men. Because as you know, sharing is caring. The more we share, the more we feel satisfied, the more we feel fulfilled, and the more we will have a peaceful, harmonious community. So for the next session, for the next episode, we are inviting you to join us to learn and to know more about the different industries and their elements. Because all the industries that are operating, all the business enterprise and their respective industries have a corresponding element. So say for example, travel, tourism, transportation might have a certain element, or education, manufacturing can represent a certain element. And you have to know if those elements or if those industries are really aligned for the governing year, or if those industries are aligned to your birth chart or to your destiny life map. That is why we are now unleashing, uncovering, trying to discover what are your core competencies and your capabilities, and if it matches your interests or whichever industry that would perfectly match you. So in short, to save more time, instead of you keep on learning, then suddenly it's not really for you. So why not as early as now, try to discover what's the right industry for you, or what's the right business that will really make you rich for your next 20 years and beyond. So please follow us and please continue listening to our program, because for sure we give you easiest to understand practical tips, rich case studies about metaphysics, about Chinese metaphysics that you'll never ever hear from any other content. So once again, this is Professor Dr. Scott, Executive Director for the Training and Quality Assurance of Social Strategy Institute. So thank you very much.